What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined as always by Tyler Hicks, and we've been having a great time in the NBA season. You know what I was thinking, Tyler? I like that new intro. I'm getting used to it. I'm grooving to the music. I think it's a good addition to the show. So I'm liking the intro. I'm liking the results on the NBA playbook so far for members of Run Pure Bets. How are you feeling about the NBA season so far?
I'm feeling good, but don't always say always with me, Spread, because we know my internet likes to take a shit here and there. We're gonna try and dance through that minefield.
You're looking crystal clear today, though.
You ever see that gif of it's not a mascot, it's a guy dressed up in like a costume. He's running through the field and there's landmines going off. That's me with my internet. So hopefully we can navigate that field and get all the way through this big slate of NBA games and find some winners.
Yeah, I'd love to have you here today. Like I was saying yesterday, we're not doing this on purpose, keeping all your winning prop bets just for the members of runpuresports.com. But hey, if you're not a member, head on over, check it out. The best in sports gambling and daily fantasy information. Hey, while I'm throwing out my promos, give us that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and away we go. Tyler, do we want to talk a little bit about last night, or do we want to dive right in? Before the show started, you were talking about the Pelicans, and I think at least you should share that with the people from what we saw last night. We were actually working on the NFL playbook while that was on, working on the NBA playbook while that was on, and we were really impressed with this team. Obviously, not a big surprise if you watched the previews. We love the Pelicans, but do you want to expound on that a little bit and some of the things that we've seen that have kind of verified what we originally thought about this team?
I mean, they're missing two of their best three players. They're missing their best perimeter defender, and they went out there and beat a Dallas team who a lot of us have penciled in as a top 3 or 4 team in the West. So you're telling me this team missing their best players can do that? I know they shot very well from the field. You can't always count on that. But if you're going to get contributions off these bench guys like this team's going to be very tough to beat when these guys are back, especially if they're fully healthy going into the playoffs. So definitely keep an eye on them when it comes to the Western Conference. They can navigate that and win it if they're fully healthy. But that's the biggest key, is staying healthy.
Yeah, a lot of fun for us yesterday at Run Pure. Hit both of our sheet plays. I got the Washington Wizards, and you had Kyle Kuzma, correct?
Yeah, Kuzma over 16.5 points.
And what'd you hit that by? Was it by halftime, or did you have to wait till the third quarter?
He got I think he got it in the fourth quarter. He got the 16 in the third. I was like, don't hook me, please.
Okay. Well, anyways, it was a great night, and we're looking to build upon that success. And we're going to start by breaking down the Orlando Magic, who are heading to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Plus 8.5 is the number for the Magic. They're plus 281 on the money line if you're feeling frisky. Only a total of 213.5. Tyler, these totals are wild today. Most of them are in the 230s, and then we have 3 that are abnormally low. This is one of them, and of course, that speaks volumes when you talk to the Cleveland Cavaliers' ability to play defense. Let me check Basketball Monster here really quick. Let's see. Darius Garland's still out. Knew that. Jalen Suggs still out. Markelle Fultz is out. I mean, these Magic point guards, man, it's just, it's like a tragedy. It could be like one of those independent foreign films where it's just sad the whole time, right? Because they can't just stay on the court. And now they have all this great front court talent, and they have no point guard. They got these talented guys, yet they're not out there able to take advantage of it. If the record goes, Scoot might be coming in to take their job, but it's a little far in advance. Let's look to tonight, plus 8.5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the Magic have really rode Paulo as he's scored 20-plus in all of his games this year. Mm-hmm. I don't see that really happening here because he's going to get a tough matchup. There's a ton of guys that can guard him here. Mobley could chase him around. If he tries to get to the rim, Jarrett Allen will be waiting for him. And LeVert could even chase him around on the perimeter and cut off some of those shots. So I really don't see the Magic keeping this one close. Mitchell's going to have his way with this backcourt, too. You've seen them give up a ton of points to guards. He's going to play the point guard role, too. 23 points, 4 threes, 8 assists to point guards this year. Like, this team's just going to give up all the points in the assist to Mitchell. I like him over 28.5 points. You could even do the combo, the points plus assists, and you're getting that number right around 35.5. I think he clears that number tonight and has a big game.
All right. I like Orlando plus the points here. Orlando is 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 against Cleveland. And hey, they're not winning these games, but actually they're 8-2 straight up in that. Wow. I'll have to check that one out. That doesn't even seem right. But regardless, I think Orlando can keep it close here. Don't know if they get the win. Do you agree with me to take the points here in this matchup?
Yeah, I could see eight. Eight seems like a lot, but I could see this Cleveland team blowing them out of the water. But I could also see Orlando keeping it within 10, maybe even getting handled most of the game. And then when the backups come in, they come back, they'll lose the game by, say, about 7. So could see them covering that 8.
All right. Yeah. So I definitely like the Magic against the spread there. I'm fine staying away from this total. When we're looking at DraftKings, did you have players that you're targeting and players that you want to fade in this game? Is this a complete fade game with a low total? I know Travis tells us not to do that. It's based on usage, not totals. But it's always tough when we're looking at these games with 230s, and this one's sitting here at 213.
I'll get pricing pulled up. I don't have it in front of me now.
Okay.
As I do that, though, just off the top of my head, I want Donovan Mitchell, depending on where he's priced.
He's 9,500.
Yeah, see, that's the only problem, though. I mean, this backcourt is not going to cover him very well. Like, he should have his way, but when he's priced around guys like Harden, Trae Young, it's going to be tough to get him in there.
Yeah.
But the other thing, too, is you can slide him in at shooting guard. And Mangone talked about that yesterday. A lot of guys want to stuff these guys in at point guard. Why don't just move him up a spot and put him in at the shooting guard spot? So he'd be a guy I'd be looking at. And I really wouldn't touch Paolo in this spot.
He's 7,500 now. I think they've priced him accurately.
They priced him up, but he's still putting up a ton of fantasy points. I mean, 30, 46, 47. I just don't see it in this matchup against his front court.
I don't think his ceiling's that high. I think he's the high floor, low ceiling guy, right? He's going to get you between 30 and 45 every night. I just don't think he gets you that 60 burger. So maybe a better cash play there than the tournaments. And so I know you were having fun with that tournament last night there. You did pretty well using the lineup that Travis and I talked about yesterday there. So hopefully we can do that again tonight. Anything more on the Magic and the Cavaliers before we move on?
Nope, that's it for me on that one.
Here's another game with a pretty big spread, but this time it's the home team catching the point as the Detroit Pistons host the Atlanta Hawks, plus 7.5 for the Pistons, plus 256 on the money line, 229 is the total. This is a high, a lot more fun here. Once again, ran the numbers this morning. If everyone wants to see the exact projections, they are on the NBA playbook. If you remember Run Pure Sports, go to the bets page, then check NBA playbook. Of course, it's different than the NBA playbook for the DFS side. So we do have a DFS playbook and we do have a bets playbook. You have the exact projections there. The projections like the Pistons to cover this spread. Tyler, do you agree?
I'm going to lean a little bit towards the other side. I just see this Atlanta team putting it on them. Detroit's had some decent spots this year, but they've also had some spots we thought they should win games and they lost them, like to the Pacers. And this Hawks team, they're going to come right at Cade, right at Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey if he's guarding one of these guards. And I think they're just going to have their way. So I think Trae Young has a big game. I think DeJounte Murray has a decent one. And this front court of Collins and Capella, I think they dominate this young guy, Jalen Duren. Mm-hmm. So I'd maybe even dabble in some. There's a John Collins 10-plus rebounds Atlanta win plus 205. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't hate taking a shot on that. Or if I don't see Capella's one populated yet. If he gets in there and you get a nice one on him, maybe play that.
Pretty clean injury report here. Only one we're missing is Alec Burks out for Detroit. Justin Holiday is in for Atlanta. So good to see some teams at full health here. But we know how the NBA goes, right, Tyler? We don't know that for sure, right? We did the game yesterday, right, for the Clippers Thunder. We thought SGA would be out and Kawhi would be in, and then that flipped, about a half hour before start time. So you never know with the NBA. But right now, that injury report is clear. Tyler says be careful there with those projections, and I'm fine with that, right? We don't just live and die by the numbers. We use them as a way to kind of indicate what we should be looking at. Then we go with what we've seen, basically our tape study, our knowledge of these teams, and the way that they're going to match up. Hey, the total's gone under here in 6 of Atlanta's last 7 games on the road in Detroit, and they're also 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 against Detroit. So the trends agree with the projections there, but not my strongest take here. I actually like the Magic a little more, even though they're on the road. We'll see how that goes. The Pistons were awesome against the spread at home last year, though. Pretty bad on the road. Let's see if that trend continues. I pulled up the pricing here. We were talking about Donovan Mitchell here. Now look at this Atlanta side. DeJounte Murray's 9,800, Trae Young's 9,700. Are those players that you both have more interest in than a Donovan Mitchell?
Me personally, I'm going to say no, But then when you look at their depth chart, it's like they really don't have anybody else. Like these two guys are going to get all the usage. Another guy I'd look at 5,500, DeAndre Hunter. I know he's not the best offensive guy, but he did go for 10, 5, and 4 last game. That's a decent fantasy game. He also has to see a ton of minutes because there really is no backup wings for this team. Bogdanovich is out. Holiday's the only guy they got. AJ Griffin's not going to see much time. So I don't mind using Hunter here at that cheap price. But yeah, just the main guys in this game for me if I'm playing anybody.
All right. Sounds good. Anything more on the Hawks and the Pistons before we move on?
Nope, that's it for me on them.
All right. The Charlotte Hornets, another big spread, plus 7.5 in New York, taking on your New York Knicks. The Fighting Tom Thibodeau's total of 225 plus 245 on the money line for the Charlotte Hornets. Another one says to take the points. Charlotte's been pretty feisty this year. I thought they were going to struggle, especially without Miles Bridges and without LaMelo. But this team has done pretty well. I think that Steve Clifford is a very good coach, and we're seeing that right now as he's gotten these guys to buy in on the defensive end. They have some veterans that can get things done. I think the Hornets keep it close. Do you agree?
I personally don't. I mean, you look at this injury report, they're still missing LaMelo, Cody Martin doubtful, Terry Rozier doubtful. Like, it's going to be tough for them to find offense. Gordon Hayward's going to have a rough matchup with these guys. So it's like I could see the Knicks just coming out and stomping this team spread, but it's also
Did the Knicks stomp anybody?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. It's like it's also the Knicks. They didn't really stomp anybody. So it's like small lean to them on that side. I think they win the game. I'd rather approach it through a performance double. And there's no guards for the Charlotte team. So Jalen Brunson, 2+ threes, New York wins, plus 132. If you think Randall has a big game and hitting the double-double, New York wins, plus 130. Brunson, 8+ assists, New York wins, plus 270 would be some ways I'd get on this game.
All right. Did you check the pricing for this game? And is there any players that you'd like to have here? We've consistently talked about how these Knicks are tough because they spread their usage so evenly. Is there a way to get different in this game, or are you staying away from it?
I'm staying away from this one. I mean, unless you get one of these cheap guys off the Charlotte side, you think sees a bunch of minutes, but I think it's one of them games we just X off.
All right. One trend in my favor here, taking these points.
Out of all the games we talked about, which one could, if it was the lowest scoring, would surprise you the most? Because I think this one would be the lowest scoring, would be the favorite.
I mean, I'm just looking at the totals, 213 compared to 225. You got to think it'd be the Magic and the Cavaliers. But I like that hot take, and I like that under here as well. Charlotte is 7-3 in their last 10 against the spread against New York Knicks. So, I think the Hornets keep it close here. You're on the other side. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow. This game might not end up even being that interesting. Anything more on this one before we move on to an NBA playoff rematch?
No, just hopefully we get that win for our guy Joey Work. Let's get a Knicks W.
All right. Yeah, I think Joey's going to be happy tonight with the win. I don't know if they will cover, though. Let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers rematching the Toronto Raptors, a team they dispatched in the second round of the playoffs last year. Toronto catching 1.5 at home, total 212. Tyler, you remember last year, I really liked the way that this Toronto team matched up with the 76ers, and boy, I was wrong. They had a couple of nice games. Then they lost Scotty Barnes, and the Sixers ran roughshod over this team. Got a pretty easy win to go ahead and eliminate. And my mistake, that was the first round of the playoffs last year, the first round, not the second. But now they rematch. Travis would love the revenge here. But boy, it's kind of rough, like revenge. Like, does it really matter? Does it really matter? I want that playoff win. I mean, a regular season win in October, it's great and everything. But I don't know if I feel fully avenged. Regardless, I think this is a tough game to talk. We talked about loving the Raptors at home this year, but Philadelphia seems to have that matchup edge, and we did see in the playoffs last season how the Raptors had no answer for Joel Embiid. Now, we know that Embiid has come out and said he has plantar fasciitis. It's funny, on the offensive end, we don't see much of a difference from him. He's still been dominating, especially in that game Monday night where they got right against the Indiana Pacers. Now he faces a tougher task, but once again, the Raptors don't necessarily have the size to keep him off there. I don't know. What do you think about this one? I mean,
I think it's just going to be just similar to how we've seen some of these playoff games play out between these two teams. Embiid's going to have his way. The other guys are going to do their best to bottle up Harden, Harris, Maxey. But one prop that sticks out to me the most in this one's on the Raptor side spread. Fred VanVleet over 23.5 points plus assists. The Duke could easily get us double-digit assists. He should be good for 15 points. That's 25 right there. I think that number's a bit short, so I like the over there. He also probably draws Maxey because they're going to have to put the bigger-bodied Harden on Trent because Trent will just shoot up over Maxey. He's only 6'1". Trent's a little bit bigger, so you got to get stop the three-point shooter there. And Embiid's rebounds are out to 12.5. The dude should get 14 to 15 in this matchup. Siakam's not keeping him off the boards. It just all depends on if he wants to stand on the 3-line or not. And as for the game, this total sits right around 212. I think neither of these teams even get close to $110. I think both of them are in the low hundreds, maybe even stay in the 90s. So I like the under here. And I'm going to take the underdog at home. Give me the Raptors.
All right. Love to hear it. Embiid sitting at 10-4 there. Is he worth the spend up?
I mean, in this spot, you could never deny it because would it surprise you if you went for 40 and 15? Probably not.
Yeah. Harden's sitting there at 9,600. Raptors are always tough, but if Scotty Barnes is out, of course, you can pivot to OG Anunoby sitting there at 6K. Anything more on the Raptors and the Sixers before we move on?
No, that's pretty much it for me. I wouldn't play much VanVleet. I just looked at his price. He's 8,400, so he's right up there with some of these higher price guys.
Yeah, I mean, if Barnes
who would you rather play, 8,400 Fred VanVleet or 8,300 Halliburton?
Yeah, I know, huh? Right?
So it's like, yeah.
Especially when you're considering usage. So I completely agree with you there. Let's talk about another rematch, although this one is from 2020 when the Brooklyn Nets take on the Milwaukee Bucks. This one will be on TNT. It's now -3.5, total of 231 here. Tyler, right? Let's not spoil it. You know I'm going to love the Bucks. So go ahead and break it down because, mine's pretty obvious where I'm going to go here.
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you. I mean, the Nets look decent in Memphis. They couldn't really stop Ja from getting to the hoop. I thought Ben Simmons was going to do a better job at that. He didn't. Now they get this matchup against Milwaukee where Giannis is going to have his way with his front court. He's going to get raked to the hoop. Simmons isn't going to be able to stop him. Claxton isn't. KD's not really a threat on defense. As for the total, we seen these two teams spread put up, like 260 in some of them games 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So I'm going to lean towards the over here, but at such a high number, maybe you wait and bet it live. You wait for a little lull in the game, get a lower number. But give me the Bucks here just to smash this team spread. Giannis goes for 30+. Lopez has his way from the 3-line, grabs a couple boards. And Holiday does his best to slow down Kyrie, which I think just hurts the Nets even more. Puts more on Durant's plate. There really isn't another offensive guy there. I think they beat him up here. Give me the Bucks.
Bucks 5-1 in their last 6 ATS against the Brooklyn Nets. Do we spend up for Giannis? Do we spend up for KD? I mean, it's funny. We like the Bucks here, but I think I'd rather spend up for the Brooklyn guys just because, first of all, they're cheaper. Giannis is 11.2. KD's 10K. Kyrie's 93. And it just feels like their usage, it's got to go through the big two. They don't really have a lot going on there.
Yeah, but doesn't all the usage have to go through Giannis on the other side?
Not necessarily, not at home. You get the role players involved. You got Holiday. I mean, I know he's going to go off, but he's 11-2.
I mean, the dude put up 64 fantasy points in 28 minutes last game, Fred. I think I'm taking him over KD regardless. If he plays 35 minutes, he's going to tank the slate.
Okay. Well, I love it. I love it when the bets line up with my DraftKings plays. So there you have it. Any other props for this game? Oh, talk about Jrue Holiday real quick. Do you think he's a decent play? He's so hit or miss. He's so boom or bust. Don't ever play him with cash.
I wouldn't play him just for the simple fact that, you look at what he's up against, and he's probably just going to have to chase around Kyrie most of the game.
Yeah.
And a lot of his effort's got to be on defense.
Yeah.
He might just be getting a couple assists and only score 15 points here, and I don't think it's worth paying up for him to get that.
That's a great callback because in that series against the Nets, what they won, he consistently had bad numbers, but he was one of the most important players on the floor because he did such a good job on the defensive end. So I think you get a great point there. My guy, Mark Lewis in the chat saying
he also falls right into the category we already talked about, spread. He's 8,500. You playing Jrue Holiday at 8,500, Fred VanVleet at 84, or you playing Halliburton at 83. So it's you're always going to gravitate to Halliburton.
Yeah, Halliburton every time because his usage is just so ridiculous.
Yep.
All right, guys, if you're enjoying this content brought to you by runpuresports.com, you got two options. Either smash that like or softly touch the like. But whatever you do, help us out with that algorithm. We're here Monday through Friday, giving you the best. in daily fantasy and sports gambling information. San Antonio Spurs +9 in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. Total of 235 plus 317 for the Spurs to get it done again. Now, Tyler, these two teams played on Monday, and the Spurs not only covered the 8.5-point spread, they went ahead and won that game outright here. Minnesota struggling to integrate Rudy Gobert. We love this from a regular season perspective, but it does not seem like they figured things out the way it's going to work, especially on the offensive end. What do you think about the Timberwolves here tonight? I think they bounce back. I know that you loved Anthony Edwards on Monday in this exact same matchup. I say we go back to it tonight. You know what we overlooked in that matchup on Monday? Run Edwards numbers on back-to-backs. They are not good. For whatever reason, they can't do it. And Karl Anthony Towns came out and said it's because he eats too much Popeyes. I thought that was kind of funny. But regardless here, I think, the same thing that you looked at last time, we don't have the back-to-back issue. And you talked about how the San Antonio Spurs just give up so many fantasy points to shooting guards. I don't know what to do with this game, but I kind of want to go back to that Anthony Edwards A1 prop that you gave out on Monday. What do you think? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, I like it here. I mean, Minnesota seems to just be piecing things together on the fly. They're trying, just like you said, they're trying to work Gobert, and you could tell it's just like they're having growing pains. But after losing to this team on Monday, and mind you, they were 8-point favorites on Monday, and they got
8.5,
yeah, and then they lost the game by 11, so they got crushed in that one. Now they get a rematch against them at home. I think Edwards does come back, even after Towns made those comments in the media. Like a guy like Edwards, I could see him coming out having a big game right here. So yeah, right back to that 25 plus points, and Minnesota wins at plus 175. And then if you even want to go to him 4 plus threes and win, plus 265. If you think he goes even crazier, there's a 30 plus points and him win, plus 430. I'm going to stick with the 25 plus points because I think that's where he ends up, somewhere in 25 to 30. And I'm not going to take the chance on him falling 2 points short.
All right, there you have it. When we're looking at DK, what do you like for this game?
As for this game, I mean, Ant's pretty. Let me get his pricing pulled up again. Reset on me.
He's 8K.
Yeah, he's 8K. You can put him in at the small forward spot, so which I don't hate that. The big men I'm going to stay away from, both on each side, because you're not sure what Cat's going to do. You're not sure what Gobert's going to do. One guy could grab all the rebounds. The other one might not. And then as for the Spurs side, I mean, Vassal's out, so maybe some Keldon Johnson. All the usage is going to have to go through him. Maybe even some Trey Jones because he's cheaper, 5,500. Mm-hmm. And then looking at some of the cheapy guys on the Spurs side, somebody's going to have to get those minutes from Vassal. Josh Primo could be a guy that benefits from that. He's 4K. So that'd be some guys I'd be looking at.
All right. Anything else from this game before we move on?
Nope, that's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, should be fairly straightforward tonight. I expect a big game from Edwards, so that's how I want to approach this one. Hey, we keep talking about Halliburton. Now is his time to shine as the Indiana Pacers are catching 7.5 in Chicago, taking on the Bulls. Total of 234.5, plus 245 on the money line. Looking here, Miles Turner is questionable. If he does not play, give me those Vukovic props. This Indiana team has struggled down low. But I need to go ahead and pull another Travis Van Gunn, right? Always referring to him, but quote unquote, wait for the news there, because if he's out, I love Vukovic and I love the Bulls to cover here. If he's in, I think that adds a different dimension to this team, because we've seen how a rim protector can elevate a whole team's defense, right? I mean, it's just like the way a good quarterback elevates a whole team's offense. That's how important rim protection is when it comes to setting up these defensive schemes. So I'm waiting for that news. And it's actually going to dictate how I approach this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think he plays. I just don't think they ever play him, to be honest with you. I think he eventually maybe gets rolled off the injury report, but then he just doesn't dress and he ends up getting traded. Because you don't want to run him out there, get him hurt again. Now you can't trade him. So I don't think he's in there. So definitely like the Vucevic props. There's a double-double in Chicago wins at minus 106. So you basically erase those 7.5 points. They just got to win for you. I like that prop. They even have a 12-plus rebounds, which we watched the dude rack up over 20 against Boston at plus 144. And as for the guards on this side, I mean, Halliburton's good. Probably can only guard one of these guys. It's probably going to be Levine. I could see Ayo Dosunmu having a decent game. 4+ assists, Chicago wins, plus 182. That'd be another one I'd look at.
Wait. Io DeSumnu 4+ assists.
Yes.
That was okay. I mean, I think it's a good prop. That's just not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a low number on a guy who's going to be playing starter minutes. He could fall into 4 assists. So I like that call there. He also got a ton of guys that could get open shots. Like Levine could be cutting to the hole a lot here. DeRozan can catch him in the post a few times. He can kick it to Vucevic down low and get those assists. So different pathways for him to get there. And then they have a DeRozan 25+ points. Chicago wins. Not big on Chicago, but I think they win this game. Indiana doesn't play much defense. These guys should score points.
Any defense.
Yeah, these guys should score points. It should be a higher pace game. Give me all the prop overs on Chicago here. They pick up the win.
All right, there you have it. Let's look at a couple of these trends here. Indiana's 1-13 in their last 14 games, but they're 8-4 against their spread in their last 12 against Chicago. So that shows you when you're catching a lot of points almost every single night, you can lose a lot, but you can still cover a lot of spreads. So let's go ahead and wait for the news on that one. And I'm fine not taking a stand right now without that knowledge of Miles Turner, because like I mentioned earlier, he can really just elevate that whole team's defense if he is out there. But Tyler does not expect him to play. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets. A lot of big spreads tonight, Tyler. A lot of more than a touchdown spreads. Another +7.5. Tyler, feels like we're looking at an NFL slate here. The Houston Rockets in Utah taking on the Jazz, the surprise of this season. And you know what? I'm mad at myself. We shouldn't have been surprised. They got a bunch of gamers and veterans, almost like that Knicks team, right? Where these guys are just, they know how to play. There's not a lot of development going on. You know, normally with these tanking teams, you're throwing a bunch of 20-year-olds out there that aren't used to the rigors of the NBA, right? You got guys like Kelly Olynyk, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley. I mean, these guys know how to win at an NBA level, and the Jazz are taking advantage of it. Got to be pretty excited. You got all those draft picks coming in, and you're not even an embarrassment. But, boy, we've switched from them being the worst team in the league to now they're laying 7.5. I know it's at home. I know people struggle with the altitude in Utah. I know Houston doesn't cover because Jabari Smith fouls with less than 5 seconds to go. But I still kind of like the points here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you're a little upset about Jabari Smith when we didn't need any points the last time these two teams matched up spread. We took the money line. They took the game home. So I'm going right back to it here. You're going to give me a +245 on them. I don't mind taking the points.
With the Rockets?
Yeah, I don't mind taking the points, but you can have all of them spread. Give me the young team. They're coming in here. They're going to win this game. I know Utah's been like that surprise team where everyone likes them. Just like you said, it's just a bunch of vets. They heard all offseason about how bad this team's going to be. They're going to be a bottom 3 team. They came out with a fire lit up under them. So they won a few games they shouldn't have. Eventually, this GM and this coach are going to start rolling these guys out with injuries so they could start losing games, I think. But this spot here, I think Green has his way. I think KPJ has his way. These big men for Utah aren't going to really be able to dominate the Houston front court as much as people think, because Olynyk's not a big body. Markkanen's not huge. Like, they don't really bang down low. So Houston's not really got nothing to worry about there. It's just going to be a shot from the perimeter game. Give me Jalen Green in one of those. I could see him getting hot and winning this game.
How about Jalen Green's over here on DraftKings? What do you think?
Yeah, I like him. I mean,
he's 6,600.
I think he put up 30 points in this matchup the last time they went out there and played. So definitely like the call on him. Don't mind the KPJ call because he could have his way. He could easily get a double-double. And we've seen the dude put up triple-double numbers before. So that should be coming at some point this season.
Yeah, disappointing injury report for me, though, because my guy Şengün is out.
He's sick, spread.
But, hey, you know, we talked about development. I think for one night that helps his team. He's bad defensively.
Yeah.
He's bad. But he's great on offense. I mean, you got to let him figure it out.
It's almost like all the other foreign bigs that are very good at passing and are supposed to be very good at basketball, just can't play defense.
Yeah, baby Vukovic, but he's got that Jokic passing.
That wasn't the one I was talking about, but
who are you talking about?
You got the second name right.
Jokic he's actually okay at defense now. It just took him
now he's okay at defense. When we knew
he's
that
okay. He's not terrible. He used to be one of the worst in the
last
league.
year, and now he's okay.
Yeah. No, he was good last year too. Last year was the first year that he actually had on those advanced statistics. He actually had respectable numbers.
Let me know when he doesn't get put in the pick and rolls when games are on the line.
Okay, I will. I will. Mark this down. 30 minutes into this show, I'll remind you. You're gonna be getting too many messages from me when they attack Jamal Murray or Michael Porter.
Yeah, I was about to say Michael Porter's like one-legged into the pick and roll because he's stumbling over because his back hurts.
But hey, Porter's been shooting the lights out. Do you have any interest in him here in this game?
Kevin Porter Jr.?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We on to the Denver game.
Yeah. We're bouncing around here on the NBA Rundown, brought to you by Run Pure Sports. If you're enjoying this content, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And should we do it, Tyler? Should we just move on? Do we want to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets? First Take wants to talk about the Lakers, right? All of NBA Twitter timeline wants to talk about the Lakers. The Lakers don't want to win a game, though. They could have something up their sleeve tonight, though. Is Russell Westbrook going to be out of this game, Tyler? Right now, he's doubtful. We're already putting LeBron and AD on the probable thing.
They were on the probable list day one spread.
I mean, this is just a joke. They play every night. Why are they always on there? Okay. Anyways, so no rest. Do you think that helps the team tonight?
I think it does help the team a bit. Now it allows those two just to funnel even more of the usage through them two. And Anthony Davis, I mean, he's going to pull Jokic away from the hoop. I think he could also get around him on the dribble too if he does that. So I like him.
But won't they run a center tonight?
They might, but it all depends on what Denver does. Like Denver's not going to run super big. Like Aaron Gordon's probably going to be the 4. Like I think you can get away with doing like an AD at the 5, LeBron at the 4 kind of lineup and just.
I don't think he's going to want to play the 5 tonight. So I actually took the Anthony Davis under on his rebounds with my idea that they will go bigger at the center spot tonight, just because AD is not going to want to be down there with that Serbian monster. But you disagree? You think he runs at the 5, huh? I
could just see it. He runs at the 5, and they just try and pull him away from the hoop on the other side. You know what I mean? Like Jokic is trying to keep it in the paint, or AD's like, we're playing this on the perimeter, bud. Tire out the big guy, beat him up down low, and now he just can't really do much. So I do think they run the 2 center look a lot tonight, like you said, but I think AD does start the 5. Damian Jones could see some minutes. It's a weird game. I'm not high on this Denver team, but it is at home. They should pick up the win. But I definitely need to see that Michael Porter news too, because that's the other questionable tag gets big on here. You talked about him shooting out the lights. If he's not there, that's another weapon Denver's missing. Might start to slide towards the LA side spread.
Yeah, good luck with that. No, actually, I think it is good, especially if Westbrook's out, man. I think there's this narrative around the team, right, that he's the reason it's wrong. And you know, I talked about it earlier. I do a show called The Wagering World with my guy 5 Star in Vegas. And I said, it's so funny how Davis has escaped criticism because from the time of the bubble to now, he's regressed completely too. He doesn't shoot that much better either for all this crap that Russ gets. But for whatever reason, this guy gets an absolute free pass. And if you think about it, he should be better. I mean, I know Russ is an athletic freak too, right? But Anthony Davis is 6'11". I mean, he's one of the most physically talented players in the game. Talk about a guy that doesn't seem to be putting in the work and seems to be, resting on his laurels. Like he got that one championship and now his career is done. I'm surprised that Anthony Davis escaped so much criticism. Interesting spot here for the DraftKings here. 230 is the total. 230 is the total. And we have Jokic sitting there at 10-9, LeBron at 9-9, AD at 9-2. Who would you rather spend up for, Jokic or LeBron?
Me personally, I'm going to say LeBron.
Okay, how come?
Who in the hell guards him on Denver's side?
Aaron Gordon.
Good luck.
Well, okay, to be fair, nobody can guard LeBron, especially when he goes into stat padding mode. But I think that Aaron Gordon is a pretty good matchup for him. He's big. He's reasonably quick. He plays with good defensive fundamentals. I don't think that's the worst matchup. When you're looking at some other teams,
Here's LeBron's recent stats against Denver.
Let's hear him.
Last game, 31 minutes, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. The game before that, 22, 10, and 9. 27, 10, and 10, 29, 1, and 12, 32, 12, and 14, 25, 6, and 9, 31, 7, and 7.
Can you pull up Jokic's last games against LA real quick?
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I'll bet you he's sitting on some monster numbers too.
Jokic versus.
I know you went for the late night hammer again there. Do you think this is a good late night hammer game? Move up that leaderboard late at night, or would you rather get some of your guys in there earlier?
I mean, I like some of the earlier spots, but I wouldn't mind getting one of these main guys in on these late games. So,
all right.
But yeah, here's Jokic's stats: 38 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 points.
18 rebounds.
Yeah, 17, 12, and 13, 32, 9, and 5, 23, 16, and 10, 13, 9, and 6, 12, 1, and 4.
Oh, okay. So he had a couple bangers, but it looks like a little while ago he did. I wonder if that was when Howard was there for those poor performances. So, all right. Well, I think this one was tough. Tyler, if you looked at the NBA playbook on runpurebets.com, if you remember, make sure you check that out. It's in the bet section. It's not the DFS playbook. There's a bets playbook. My projections came pretty close there to the exact spread and the exact total. This was a tough game for me to bet. I don't know. Am I missing some value here?
I mean, it's tough. And just like the guy in the chat just said, our guy Richard, Lakers money line, they have to win one game, right? Like this team's eventually, they do have to win. And like
they could go 0-11.
they could, but we said that about the Jets 2 spread. Look where they're sitting. So it's like teams eventually are going to fall on the wins.
Russ on them though.
Yeah, but he might not be there tonight. So if he's not there, what better team to lay a dud than a Denver Nuggets team?
Couldn't win without their Russ.
Yeah, I mean the Denver Nuggets couldn't beat the Utah Jazz at home. I know the Jazz are a surprise team, but LA's picking up that first win tonight. Give me that money line.
Ooh. DJ says I'm coming fiery today. You're coming with the hot takes, so you coming with 2 big money lines.
Yep.
That's Lakers, 2 big money lines. Excellent. Well, DJ wanted.
Then I have built-in value on both sides on the Lakers money line spread because if they lose, it just makes the Pelicans first round pick even better. Imagine Victor ends up on that team.
Oh my gosh, you love this idea of Victor going to play with Zion. What do you think of Beverly here for DFS tonight if Russ is out?
I mean, I don't hate it. I'd like more like the Kendrick Nunn play. I think he sees more of the minutes at the guard. Maybe even some Austin Reeves love because LeBron loves playing with him. The Duke could get hot from 3. Could easily get a ton of minutes there and shoot some threes. But yeah, looking at the pricing, Beverly's 4,500, the Kendrick Nunn's 35, and Reeves 33. I think I'm playing those 2 over them.
What about Walker over them?
Walker's 47. Yeah, Walker's 4,700, and you can get him in at the small forward spot. So I like him a little bit better to where Beverly's guard dependent. You have to put him in the guard spots.
All right. Lakers 1-6 straight up in their last 7 on the road, but they're 9-4 in their last 13 against Denver. So maybe this is a good matchup for them, Tyler. Maybe it's finally the time for the Lakers to get the win. But since I'm a Kings fan, and we have nothing to cheer about in this god-awful franchise, we root against the Lakers. So maybe they get another loss because that's the only thing we have as long as that idiot Vivek Ranadive is in charge of our team. And we are chugging along, Tyler. We're making some pretty good time here. We're doing a great job. Your internet's doing a great job. So
don't jinx it.
Let's give Xfinity some props. You know, you're coming through crystal clear, giving out these winners. I could not be happier. The Miami Heat are -2.5 in Portland, taking on the Trailblazers. Trailblazers are undefeated still, right? 219.5 is the total, plus 122 for the Blazers on the money line. Tyler, this Heat team has struggled without PJ Tucker. They really need him as a small ball 5. When Adebayo goes to the bench, it has not been good in these bench minutes. Do you think that Portland has the manpower to take advantage of that? They're at home. This is a big trip. Miami's never been that good on the road. Why shouldn't I take the Blazers on the money line? Now, to be fair, my projections had this game really close. So this isn't a math play. This isn't a model play. This is just me watching and saying, hey, this Portland team might be better than we give it credit for. Jeremy Grant seems to be a perfect complement to Dame Lillard, and they all seem to be working really well. It gives them more front court defense. Nurkic can still protect the middle, and Anfernee Simons continues to get better and better. Am I overrating this Portland team, though, just because of a hot week to start the season?
No, I don't think so. I think they're really good. I think they're going to be a surprise team in the West. They're going to make their way back into the playoffs. But this is the battle of 2 completely different teams, Fred. Portland's going to want to run it up and down the floor, shoot a ton of threes, score $130 on you. Miami's going to want to lock in on defense and take all those threes away and make you play a grit and grind game and beat you up with Jimmy Butler. So I'm going to side with the home team here. I think they impose their will more. I also don't trust these defensive guys for Miami with a couple guys missing. Like, Jimmy can only cover one guy to where if he goes to Dame because Dame's hot, Anfernee Simons could get hot hitting a bunch of threes. We've seen Josh Hart put multiple threes in the bucket back to back, so he could be another name that gets hot. Bam doesn't look good at all this year. I could see Nurkic having his way with him down low, and I think Portland wins the bench minutes here too. So give me Portland on the money line spread.
And, we think of Portland as this all offense team, but they've quietly kind of upgraded that defense with the additions of Grant, GP2, and then, of course, they got Josh Hart out last season.
GP2
right?
will be out tonight.
I'm just saying this team has made a concerted effort towards defense, and I think that Chauncey Billups, even though I might not necessarily like him as a person, is doing a good job of instilling that in the team, and that's what's led them to get the win. So, hey, it's crazy going against the Miami Heat. I think if we had talked about this game preseason, we would have thought this would be a good spot for the Heat to get a road win, but Portland's a tough place to play. This team is hot. Let's go ahead and ride the streak. I'm going to take the Trail Blazers. Anything more on this game before we move on? Or actually,
nope. Is it just me, or the last few years the Blazers have been good? Like, not counting last year, because last year was just a disaster. But the couple years they've been good. Haven't they come out with the foot on the gas, 100 miles an hour? They run out to like a top 3 seed before.
No, they usually do it the other way. They usually come out and suck, and then they get hot. I could
have swore they were the team that went the other way. They came out, they'd get out to like a 12-1 record, slow. And then they slowly drop off.
No, they start slow, and then they pick up towards the end of the year, and then they become, the team that's a 6 seed, but they're going in winning, like 80% clip in the last 2 months. So
I got you.
Yeah, they've done things a little different this year, but the pressure's on because they brought Lillard back. He's a little older. They obviously made those win now moves. And who's a player we didn't talk about that I absolutely love?
Shaedon
Sharpe. How can you not like the guy, right? Just one thing about him, regardless of the stats, whatever. I mean, he just looks smooth when he plays, right? I think there's a lot of good stuff going on there in Portland. So we both agree on that one. Tyler, we made it through quicker than we expected with no internet problems. I mean, boy, I'm loving it here today. But you know what that means. We'll do a quick promo and then some best bets. Guys, this show brought to you by runpuresports.com. If you're not a member, head on over, check out all the best in daily fantasy and sports betting information. Hey, give us that thumbs up. A quick question from DJ. Is Jamal Murray playing in that Nuggets game? I don't see him on the report at all. I'm expecting him to play.
Anywhere. I think he'll be in there.
Yeah. So, another thing with PJ Tucker being out, now that I'm looking at this report again that I forgot to bring up that I meant to, Yurtseven's out, which is why they're missing Tucker even more.
Yeah, now they don't have a backup big.
And Dedmon hasn't been playing that well. It might be the end of the line for Dedmon. He's had a great career, but he's getting older, and it seems like the athleticism is just gone. Maybe it's time for him to go be an assistant coach with Udonis Haslem on the bench. But, yeah, right now, DJ, we expect Jamal Murray to play. But guess what? It's the NBA, right? So anything can happen, right? I mean, SGA gets ruled in. Kawhi gets ruled out, which isn't that crazy, right? But it's just the fact that it happened in the same game. So, of course, we continue. What do you think of Hero tonight? This is from Daryl Snyder. Tyler Hero. Do you think?
He should see the minutes, but I'm not as big on him here because he could draw a guy like Josh Hart who could just lock him down and he'd just be useless on the offensive side.
Do you think that moving into the starting lineup, while it might be good for his ego, has actually hurt his fantasy production? Because rather than running that second unit where the whole offense is going through him, he's now up there with Lowry, Butler, and Bam, and so he becomes like the fourth option rather than the first option?
I personally think so, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder – I know they want to give him the starter minutes, but it just makes sense to me. I mean, I understand these guys have big egos because you can't make the league and become this good without complete belief in yourself. But I think he would be better suited back to that old role. And, of course, we could say the same thing about Russ, too. I don't know why these guys they just want to hear their names in the opening lineup so badly, But, hey, I guess that's what makes them great. But, yeah, that's an interesting thing from Hero. So, until there's some people injured, I think that his fantasy production has been a bit diminished with the fact that he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I agree there.
Let's do the best bets. We'll each do a best bet, Tyler, and then my guy DJ, he wants a big parlay tonight. He wants a big parlay tonight, and he came to the right place. But let's just start with these straight bets, 1 unit bets, just a straight bet. Whatever you bet, you're going to get a couple winners here. Start with you, Tyler. What do you got?
I think I'm going to steal your spread. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not going to steal yours. I'll leave it there for you. Give me the Raptors money line at home against the Sixers team that struggled. They have the defensive bodies to slow everybody but Embiid, and I think that'll be enough to get out with a win at plus 110. All
right, I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucks minus 3.5, but I'm going to add that Portland Trailblazers money line too because I'm feeling good today on a Wednesday. I think DJ said I'm fiery today. Hey, man, I'm fired up. NBA's been running well. I'm loving doing the new playbook. Just seeing everything right there. It even helps me. So I'm hoping it's helping you guys too. So yeah, man, this NBA just keeps getting better and better. It's the best time of year to be a sports fan with all three sports going at once. So I am fired up. That's why I want to give out two best bets. We'll go with the Bucks and the Blazers, B&B, bed and breakfast, Blazers and Bucks. Tyler, we've made them wait for 45 minutes, but let's give them what they came for. It's the home run parlay that you always cook up.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I just logged into FanDuel after I had built my bet slip, and it took it away, so I got to rebuild it.
Oh, wow. If that's our only internet problem for today, I'll take that.
This one, we'll make a smaller one first here, because I like this one. I think this one has a very good chance at hitting. Randall double-double in the Knicks win.
Okay.
Fred VanVleet 6+ assists in Toronto wins.
Okay.
Vucevic double-double in Chicago wins. That gets you 12-1. But don't mind.
One more time, because I was typing in here.
It is Vucevic double-double in Chicago wins. Julius Randle double-double and New York wins. And Fred VanVleet to get 6 assists and the Raptors win.
Yeah, so I put in the chat on the bets page. Daryl says that he's not seeing the bets playbook. When you go to Run Pure Sports, you hit bets on the top, and then it'll switch you over to the green, like we have with the layout here on the screen today. When you're in that green area, then NBA playbook, and hopefully it'll get you there. But let me know. Hit me up on Twitter or in the Discord if you can't find it. But Tyler and I are really proud of the work that we're doing. I already have the projections up. I have some game notes up, and Tyler waits for the news, right? So you're not getting those props early, but you'll get the props closer and closer to game time. We will notify you in the Discord when it's updated, or if we get some news that we weren't expecting and we change the pick. We might change the pick. If something crazy happens, we might say, hey, we RPB'd this. We're not going to RPB it. We're staying off this game or we're staying away. So check the Discord as Tyler adds those player props and gives you the updates. Tyler, we finished on time today. I get to do double duty today. So, of course, subscribe to the channel. You're going to get notified in about 10 to 12 minutes when I go live with our guy, Travis Mangone, and, of course, the great Holden Kushner hosting. And we're going to be picking winners in the NFL, an early look at the DFS slate, and, of course, some thoughts about how to bet some of the best games for this Sunday. Tomorrow, Tyler, we'll be back. But we'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern, correct? Yep. And we'll have our guy, Kurt, the EuroLeague guru, jumping in the NBA streets to help us out. And then Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern as well, with our favorite over-better AP. So much great content here at runpuresports.com. One more time, just asking, give us the thumbs up on the video. And away we go. Tyler, any words of wisdom before we get out of here?
Not words of wisdom, but I put together another. Well, this one's the long shot parlay.
See, that's why I talked for a long time, people. You guys thought I was just babbling for nothing. No, I was giving the kid time to work.
All right. We like the Bucks to win. The Giannis ones are kind of priced out. Mm-hmm. We think Drew Holiday kind of does more of the defensive work. There's just say the big tree in the corner can't hit 3 threes. Brook Lopez 3 threes. Milwaukee wins plus 390.
Love it.
The Hawks, they should go up and down the floor against this Detroit team. This could be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, Detroit can't defend.
Trae Young, 12+ assists. Atlanta wins. He should be racking up assists in this game. He's kind of went away from the scoring a little bit and just let these other guys handle it while he just runs the floor. That'll be the second leg, and we like Portland to win. Butler can only cover one of these guys. I think it's going to end up being Dame. Simons, they hit 4+ threes, and Portland wins. That gets you 100-1.
All right, we gave you 1 unit, minus 110 to win and 100-1. You get it all here on the NBA Rundown, brought to you by Run Pure Sports tomorrow. We will see, runpuresports.com. We will see you tomorrow on the NBA Rundown. Run